What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today in this video we'll be doing this previous question paper that you see here. This is a national certificate for mathematics and 4. The paper was actually written on the 27th March 2025 and it took 3 hours. So on this video we're gonna focus on question 5. So before we start with this question 5, I just like to say thank you very much guys for watching, subscribing to the channel, commenting, and not forgetting those who like and share the videos. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel because we have made lots and lots of videos on previous question papers and also on mathematics question. Right, if you want to see this channel to grow, if you want to support us, you can hit the super thanks button. That will be really appreciated. But if you can't, a like, a share, and a subscription will be very appreciated. So before we start though, I'd like to inform you that I will leave a timestamp for a specific question that you like to watch if you're not willing to watch the video in a sequence order. All right, let's go to question 5 and let's start solving it. So here's our question 5. Question 5 consists of 5 questions. We have 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, which has 2 questions underneath it, and 5.4. So we're going to start with 5.1 and then we copy this problem, paste it with the space, and let's solve it. Well guys, here is our 5.1. Now they want us to integrate the following terms of x. So we have to integrate these terms here. So before we do some integration, we need to check which of the following terms needs to be simplified. Remember guys, you cannot integrate with some of the terms like term 1 and term 3 them. You need to simplify them. So before we integrate, we have to simplify. When you simplify guys, you have to include the sigma there and then the dx as well. So let's start with the first term. The first term, we have 3 over sec 4x. We cannot integrate with the trigonometric ratio like this, so we need to change this using the inverses. 1 over sec, we know that is the same as cos. So we can say 3, which is a coefficient, and then instead of writing 1 over sec 4x, we can write cos 4x. There we go. Move to the second term. The second term is fine. No simplification is required. We're just going to rewrite it as it is. We have negative 7 multiplied by 5 to the power of 3 pi x. There we go. Plus the third term. Now the third term also needs to be simplified. We have 9 over e to the power of negative 3x. We need to take this e to the numerator. So we're going to write it as 9e to the power of 3x. There we go. Plus, now this term here, which is the fourth term, is fine. There's no simplification required there. Minus, when we look at this fifth term, we don't need to simplify it. We have 3 pi over x. We can integrate this one as well. The last but not least, we have pi over 6 multiplied by cos x squared pi x. So this one also doesn't need to be simplified. So we're going to write it as it is, guys. There we go. Right, dx. Let us not forget that we have dx there. Guys, when you simplify, make sure that the sigma and dx appear on your simplification. Now that we are done simplifying, it's time for us to integrate. Right, so before you integrate, you need to check each and every term and try to identify what type of integral that you need to apply on each term. Now let's start with the first term. As you can see, the first term here, we have the integral of trigonometric ratios. So what is the integral of cos? First of all, we need to multiply this by the coefficient, which is 3. But the integral, of course, we know that's going to be positive sign. But let's not forget that we have cos 4x. So this 4x is going to be part of the integral. But then we need to divide by the coefficient of x. In this case, that coefficient is 4. Now we are done integrating this one. Just in case you want to know how to integrate the trigonometric ratios, you can go to the description. I left a video where I explain how to integrate trigonometric ratios. And also the very same video will pop up on the top right of the one that you're watching here. Now let's go to the next one. We say minus. Now this second term, when you integrate this one, guys, as you can see, our x is an exponent there. So this means that this is an exponential integral. So when you integrate this one here, you're gonna multiply this 7 with 5 to the power of 3 pi x as it is. But then when we divide there, we want to multiply the denominator with the coefficient of x. In this case, is 3 pi. And then we say natural log the base. Remember, our base here is 5. Right, again, if you don't know how to integrate exponentials, you can go to the description. I left a video where I introduced the integral of exponentials. Also, the very same video will pop up on the top right of this one here. Now let's go to the third term. Also, the third term is an exponential integral. As you can see, x is the exponent there. We do similar to what we did on the previous term there. We're going to write 9e to the power of 3x. But we're going to divide by the coefficient of x. In this case is 3, natural log within the base. In this case, our base is in. Again, the video on how to integrate this type of the integral is on the description, guys. All right, let's do the fourth term. We say plus, as you can see, the fourth term with pi multiplied by x to the power of -3. So this is a standard integral. Just in case you don't know much about standard integral, I will leave a video on the description, and also the very same video will pop up on the top right. That video explains a little bit more about the standard integral, but let's just do it here. So we're gonna have pi multiplied by x to the power of -3 plus 1. So the very same -3 plus 1, you divide by it there. Then we go to the next term. We have minus 3 pi, and then we know that this here is the same as 1 over x. The integral of 1 over x is natural log x. Again, this one, guys, if you don't know how to do it, you can go to the description. I left a video where I explain this type of integral, and the very same video will pop up on the top right of this one that you're watching here. Go and click on that video and watch so that you can understand better. All right, the last term here is time for us to do it. So we can say plus. Now, on the last term, we know that we have pi over 6 as a coefficient. Now it's time for us to integrate the trigonometric ratio there. Guys, when you integrate this one, it's going to be cot. Then let's not forget we have pi x. But remember, when we integrate the trigonometric ratio, we divide by the coefficient of x here, which is pi. Right, now that we are done integrating everything, let us not forget to add plus c. So guys, this is how you integrate each and every term here, but we need to simplify each term further. So I'm gonna simplify it here. So the first term is fine, there's no need for us to simplify it. We're just gonna rewrite it as it is. We have 3 sine 4x divided by 4. And also second term is fine, we're gonna rewrite it as it is. There's no need for us to simplify it because it's already simplified. So let's just rewrite it here. 3 pi and natural log 5 then. Now let's go to the third term. The third term needs to be simplified, guys. We have 9 over 3. That is going to give us 3. We have e to the power of 3x on the numerator. But then on the denominator, we have natural log e. So natural log e, guys, is equaling to 1, just in case you didn't know. Now let's look at this term here, which is the fourth term. On the fourth term, we have to put a negative there because when you look at our denominator, we have -3 plus 1. That is going to give us -2. But on the numerator, we're still going to have pi and x to the power of -3 plus 1. That is going to give us -2 divided by the 2. Remember, this 2 is responsible for this negative there. Now let's look at the sixth term. The sixth term, everything is fine. It's simplified as it is. We're just going to rewrite it as it is. 3 pi natural log. And then the last term, which is pi over 6 multiplied by cot pi x over pi. Now, if you can look at pi, we have pi on the numerator and pi on the denominator. They're going to divide each other. So you're going to be left with cot pi x divided by 6 plus c. Guys, this is how you do this one here. I hope you managed to understand how to do this one. Just in case you did not understand, you can go to the point where you got lost. Try to rewatch it from that point, and if that doesn't help still, you can leave a comment in the comment section. I'll try to help you to my level best. But if this part of the video helped you to understand how to solve this type of problems, you can leave a like, share, and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. But if you want to see the channel grow and also to provide you with a high quality of content, you can hit the super like button there. We'll really appreciate it. But if you can't hit the super like button, you can always like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate that, guys. Guys, we are done with 5.1. We'll be doing 5.2. All right, guys, we are done with 5.1. Let's do 5.2. I'll copy this question, paste it where there is space, and let's do it. All right, guys, here is our 5.2. Now, 5.2, they want us to calculate the voltage, but let's read the question here. The question goes like this. The impedance of a circuit is given by the equation. Now, here's the equation that they are talking about there on the question, and they want us to determine V there. As you can see, we have a sigma, and we have the upper limit and the lower limit. So we have to integrate here as well. But let's look at our upper limit. Our upper limit is given in radians, guys. So it's best to change these radians into degrees. So when you do that, you multiply the radians with 180 divided by pi. Now, when you do this, it's going to give you 90 degrees. So it's better to change from radians to degrees. I find it easier that way. So you have to rewrite the equation there. Remember, V is equaling to sigma, our upper limit, which is going to be 90 degrees, our lower limit, which is 0, open bracket, sine x minus cos x dx. There we go. Just in case you don't know what's happening here, these are definite integrals. So if you want to know about definite integrals, we can go to the playlist. I've made lots of videos on definite integrals. All right, guys, let's do the next step. So the next step here, we integrate. So let's put this inside the bracket. So we're going to start with sine x. What is the integral of sine x? It's going to be negative cos x minus. Now, what is the integral of cos x? It's going to be positive sine. But since we have negative here, so there's going to be negative sine x. There we go. Because we are dealing with definite integral, you need to write your limits up here and down there. So here on top is the upper limit, and here below is a lower limit. Guys, do not confuse these limits with powers. The next step here is to separate the integral of the upper limit and the integral of the lower limit. So the integral, guys, is the same, which is going to be negative cos x minus sine x. But this bracket here is for the upper limit, which is 90 degrees, minus the upper limit is always subtracted by the integral of the lower limit, which is the same, by the way, which is cos x minus sine x. But this time around, we have the lower limit. Guys, do not mistake this for the powers. These 90 and 0 here, they just represent the upper and the lower limit. Right, so let me continue here on top. Start by erasing this. If we continue, V is going to be, now it's time for us to substitute the limit. On the first bracket, we're going to substitute 90. So it's going to be negative cos 90 minus sine 90. So wherever there is x, guys, we're going to substitute with the upper limit. Then minus. Now, the second bracket is for the lower limit. We're going to do similar thing, but this time around, we're going to substitute with 0. There we go. 0. Wherever there is x, we substitute with 0. Right, so if you continue like this is going to give us negative 1 for the first bracket of the upper limit, minus, and then the lower limit, you're also going to have negative 1 as well. So the final answer here is going to give us 0 volts. So this is how you do this one here, guys. This is what we call the definite integrals. Just in case you didn't understand, you can go to the point where you got lost, go and watch from that point. If that doesn't help, you can leave a comment on the comment section. I'll try to help you to my level best. But if this part of the video helped you to understand, do not forget to like, share, and comment on the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support this channel, you can also hit the super thanks button. That will be really appreciated. But if you can't, like, comment, and sharing, that is also enough for us. All right, guys, I've made videos on definite integrals. You can go to the playlist and watch those videos. We are done with 5.2. It's time for us to do 5.3. Okay, guys, we are done with 5.2. It's time for us to do 5.3. As you can see, 5.3, it has two questions. So let's look at 5.3.1 there. We're going to copy this question, paste it where there is space, analyze it, and solve the problem. Right, guys, so let's look at 5.3.1. Now, the question goes like this. Sketch and clearly indicate the area enclosed by the graph of y is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3 and the x-axis. Also show the representative strip to be used to calculate the area here. So this is the question that we have here. So let's analyze it. Guys, they want us to sketch firstly, and we must indicate the area enclosed by the x-axis intercept, right? So they never gave you the limits for this one, meaning the limits is going to be the x-intercept. Let's first sketch the graph. We'll be indicating the area, and also we need to show the representative strip of that area. So let's do it. As you can see, this equation here, it means we have to draw the parabola graph. Now, when you draw the parabola graph, guys, the simplest way of drawing this graph is to use the intercept method. So here is how the intercept method looks like, or how it works. First of all, you need to find the intercepts of y and x. So we can say when x is 0, what is y? Now, when it's like this, it means wherever there is x from the original equation, we substitute with 0. From the original equation, we can say y is equal to, wherever there is x, we put 0 there, squared minus 2, then we put 0 there, minus 3. Y is equal to negative 3. We can say point A has the coordinate of 0 and negative 3. It's time for us to find x when y is equal to 0. There we go. So from the original equation there, wherever there is y, we must substitute with 0. So we can say 0 is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3. So from here, we need to solve for x. So let me create a little bit of space here. Now let's do it here. So we can factorize here. We can say this is equal to 0. We know that the factors of x squared is x and x, and then the factors of 3 is 3 and 1. Now that in the middle term we have negative and the last term we have negative, it means one of these brackets is going to be positive and the other is going to be negative. But let me first put negative for both of them. When I look at the term in the middle there, it has a negative sign. It means that the bigger factor of 3 is going to take the sign in the middle, which is going to be negative 3. So the smaller factor is going to be positive. Right, so from here we can say x is equal to negative 1 and x is equal to 3. So we can say point B, the coordinate is negative 1 and 0, and point C, the coordinate is 3 and 0. There we go. So these are the points for the x-intercept. Now, since this is a parabola, we know that a parabola, it has a turning point. Now, turning point for x, we're going to use this formula, negative b divided by 2a. Remember, in order for you to find a and b and c, we must go back to the original equation. So I'm going to write exactly where is a, b, and c. On a parabola, we have y is equal to a x squared plus bx plus c. So a is a coefficient of x squared. In this case here, a is going to be 1. And then b is a coefficient of x. In this case here, is going to be negative 2. Or c is a constant. So we're not going to use it on this equation here. So let's go back. We have negative. And then b here is going to be negative 2, close bracket. And then divide by 2. And then we have a. A is a coefficient of x squared, which is going to be 1. And if you continue here, x is equal to 1. Right, so now that we know what x is, it's time for us to find the y value. Guys, when you find the y value of a turning point, you substitute this x value of the turning point to the original equation. So let me just substitute very quickly. We know that y is equal to wherever there is x, we substitute with the value of the turning point here for x, which is 1 squared minus 2 multiplied by 1 minus 3. This here is going to give us negative 4. Right, so meaning our turning point, the coordinates for turning point is going to be 1 for x and negative 4 for y. Now that we have all the necessary points, we can able to draw our graph. So let's draw our parabola graph. So I'm going to do this here and then draw our graph here, guys. Let me first draw the Cartesian plane. All right, so here is our Cartesian plane. So it's time for us to plot our graph here. So let's first look at our point. We have point A here. It's at the point where x is 0, but y is negative 3. So there is the point for A, guys. I'm just going to write A next to it. There we go. And then let's look for point B there. So point B, we have x as negative 1 and y as 0. So here is that point there. We can say this is point B. Let me just write it here next to it. There we go. And then let's look at point C. Point C, x is positive 3 and y is 0. So that is the point there. We can say this is point C there. And then we have the turning point, guys. So the turning point, we know that x is 1. So if you take a ruler and you draw a straight line like that, there we go. And then y is negative 4. If you take from here, negative 4, and then we draw a line where they intersect there, guys, this is going to be your turning point. Now, you need to know that when A is positive, in this case, we have A there is positive, it means that our graph will face up like that. I hope you can see there, guys. We can do this on the turning point to indicate that our graph is going to face upwards. Then you start connecting the dots. Let's connect the dots. All right, as you can see, here's our graph here. We can name this graph y is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3. There we go. So this is how you draw this graph here. Now, remember, they want us to indicate the enclosed area by the x-axis. So let's indicate this area. All right, guys, as you can see, I've highlighted the area and also I've shown the representative strip here with the blue line. Just in case you didn't understand, remember they said you must show the area that is enclosed in an x-axis, meaning on this type of equation, you only gonna use the x-intercept as your limit. So if you can look at this graph here, the x-intercept are actually your limit for this one. I hope you guys managed to understand how to do this one. It was really not that difficult. All you needed to know what to do here is to draw the parabola and understand that the limits are actually your x-intercept for the parabola. All right, as for representative strip, you just put it anywhere inside the shaded area, guys. Just in case you didn't know, you can put it anywhere as long as it's inside the shaded area. All right, guys, we are done with 5.3.1. I hope you managed to understand. Just in case you didn't understand, you can go to the point where you got lost, rewatch from that point. And if that doesn't help, you can also leave a comment in the comment section. I'll try to explain to my level best. But if this part of the video helped you to understand, do not forget to like, share, comment if you have any comment, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. You can also help our channel to grow so that we can give you a better high quality content by hitting the super thanks button. But if you can't, you can always like, comment, and share the videos. All right, guys, we are done with 5.3.1. Let's go and do 5.3.2. All right, guys, we are finished with 5.3.1. Let's look at 5.3.2. Just in case, before we continue, 5.3.2 is actually the continuation of 5.3.1. So we're going to use the very same graph that we drew on 5.3.1 to solve 5.3.2. So let me just copy this question, paste it where there is space, and let's solve it. Okay, let's look at 5.3.2. They want us to use integration to determine the value of the enclosed area indicated. So they want us to find the value of the area here. So guys, when we calculate the value of the area, we're going to use definite integrals. Again, if you don't know much about definite integrals, you can go to the playlist. I've made lots and lots of videos on definite integral. But first of all, you need to know what is your upper limit and your lower limit. So the upper limit here, remember, we have the x-intercept, which is 3. That one is going to be our upper limit because the other x-intercept is lower than 3, which is -1. Here, we're going to write the equation of the graph, which is x squared minus 2x minus 3. There we go, dx. So we are integrating with respect to x. From here, we're just going to integrate, substitute, and then we get our area. So let's start. Right, y is going to be, let's open the bracket. Everything here is a standard integral. So here's how we're going to do it. It's going to be x 2 plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1 minus 2x 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1 minus. When we have a constant, remember when we integrate, we just multiply by the integral variable. So in this case, we are integrating with respect to x, we're just going to multiply with x. Then we close them. Let's not forget to put our upper limit here and our lower limit there. Guys, let's not forget, these are not powers, but the limit. Again, when you do the definite integrals, there's no need for you to add plus c there. At the end, those c's will cancel each other. Then let's continue. If we continue here, the first bracket for the upper limit, we're going to have x cubed divided by 3 minus, we have 2x to the power of 2 divided by 2 minus 3x. And then here we're going to say this is for the upper limit minus the same integral. So it's going to be x to the power of 3 divided by 3 minus 2x squared divided by 2 minus 3x. But this time is for the lower limit. Again, guys, do not confuse the limits with the powers. These are not powers, but limits. Right, let's continue. Let me create a little bit of space there so that we can continue. Right, so when we continue, we're gonna substitute the limit on the axis. So let's start. So for the first one, we're gonna put 3 to the power of 3 divided by 3 minus. Now let's go to the second term on this bracket. 2 and 2, when they divide, they're going to give you 1. You're going to be left with x squared. Then wherever there is x, we substitute with 3. And then let's not forget the power there, which is going to be 2. Right. And then we go to this term here. We have 3 multiplied by x, but instead of x, we multiply with 3. And then that's it's going to be our first bracket for the upper limit. On the second bracket, which is subtracting, we're going to substitute with the lower limit, which is -1, wherever there is x. So we're going to do the same thing here. -1 to the power of 3 divided by 3 minus, we have 2 and 2 here. Again, they're going to give you 1. You're going to be left with x squared. Wherever there is x, we substitute with -1. This is going to be -1 squared minus, then we have 3 multiplied by -1. There we go. And this here, we put everything on our calculator. On the first bracket, we're going to have -9 minus the second bracket, which is going to give us 5/3. Right. All right. So if you put this on the calculator, you will have -10,667 unit square. The reason why your area is negative is because it is at the negative part of y. As you can see, this area that is shaded, it's on the negative part of y. That's why it is negative. So you can actually rewrite it as a positive answer, where you can say 10,667 unit square. Right. I hope you managed to understand how to do this one, guys. Really, it was not that difficult. All you needed to know here is how to draw the parabola and also shade the area. And in order for you to calculate the area, you must use the definite integral. Just in case you don't know much about definite integrals, you can go to the playlist. I've made videos on definite integrals. Go to the playlist and watch those videos. Guys, if it so happened that you didn't understand at some point, you can go to that point, rewatch it. And if that doesn't help, you can leave a comment in the comment section. I'll try to help you to my level best. But if this part of the video helped you to understand how to calculate the shaded area or the enclosed area in the graph, you can always like, share, comment, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. If you want to support the channel to grow so that we can give you the high quality when it comes to content, you can always hit the super thanks button. That will be highly appreciated. But if you can't, liking, commenting, and subscribing, it's also fine. All right, guys, we are done with 5.3.2. It's time for us to do 5.4. Right, guys, we are done with 5.3.2. Let's look at 5.4 and let's see if we can able to solve this. So I'm going to copy this question, paste it where there is space, and we solve it. Okay, here is 5.4. Now 5.4, they want us to simplify this expression that you see here. So as you can see, this is integration because we have the sigma and dx there. So before we integrate though, we need to simplify the numerator and the denominator. Now, when I look at this here, guys, I can see that we need to take out the common factors. So let's continue. Remember, when you simplify, guys, the sigma and dx must remain to show that you are not yet integrating but simplifying. Let's look at the numerator there. We have 3x to the power of 3 minus 81. If we can take out the common factor, which is 3, we will be left with x to the power of 3 minus 27. Divide by, we have 2x minus 6. Also, if you can take out the common factor there, which is 2, we're left with x minus 3. There we go, dx. Now, when it's like this, we also need to go further and simplify the numerator. On the numerator, we have what is inside the bracket, guys. It can be simplified. We call this the sum and the difference of two cubes. So how do you simplify this? First of all, you need to do the following. We have 3 over 2. Then we can say x to the power of 3 minus 3 to the power of 3. There we go. Divide by x minus 3 dx. And then we continue writing the sigma there. We say 3 over 2. These are the common factor. And then on the numerator, when we use the sum and the difference of two cubes, the formula, it goes like this. It's a to the power of 3 minus b to the power of 3. When we expand this is going to be a minus b. And then we're going to have a squared plus ab plus b squared. So basically, when we look at the numerator there inside the bracket, this is how we're supposed to expand it. So let's do it. So the first bracket, we're going to have x minus 3, and then we expand on the second bracket. So we square the first term on the first bracket, then we multiply x and 3 there, which is going to give us 3x. Then we square that 3 there, which is going to give us positive 9. There we go. And then we divide there by x minus 3. Let us not forget dx to indicate that we are still integrating. So let me continue here. So we can say sigma. When you look at this here, we can say x minus 3 divided by x minus 3. That is going to give us 1. So we'll be left with 3 over 2. And then we have x squared plus 3x plus 9 dx. So when it's like this, guys, our expression is simplified. We can start integrating. So let's integrate. Y is equaling to, we have to take out the common factor, which is 3 over 2, and then let's integrate what is inside there. It's going to be x 2 plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1. This is a standard integration. Plus, let's look at the second term here. It's going to be 3 x to the power of 1 plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1. Now let's look at the last term. It's a constant. Remember, when we integrate, we multiply by the variable that we are integrating with respect to. In this case, is x. So it's going to be 9 multiplied by x, close bracket, plus c. Make sure that the c is outside the bracket, guys, because what is inside the bracket is going to be affected by the fraction here, which is 3 over 2. Right, so let's continue. Remember, this is not definite integral, they are just indefinite integral. So don't forget plus c there. So let's continue. We have 3 divided by 2. We're going to have x to the power of 3 divided by 3 plus we're going to have 3 x to the power of 2 divided by 2 plus 9x plus c. Right, so we need to remove the bracket by multiplying with our 3 over 2 outside the bracket. So when you do that, the first term is going to be 3 over 2 multiplied by x to the power of 3 over 3. This 3 and that 3, they will divide each other. So you're going to be left with x to the power of 3 divided by 2 for the first term. So let's look at the second term. So we're going to say 3 multiplied by 3x squared. This is going to give us 9x squared divided by, on the denominators, this is going to give us 4. Now we go to the third term inside the bracket, plus 3 multiplied by 9x, this is going to give us 27x divided by 2, because we have 2 multiplied by 1 there. Right, plus c. Guys, this is our final answer for 5.4. All right, I hope you guys managed to understand this. Really, it was not that difficult. All you needed to do, you needed to simplify before you integrate and simplify after integration. But if it so happened that you didn't understand, you can go to the point where you got lost, rewatch from that point, and if that still doesn't help, you can leave a comment in the comment section. I'll try to explain to my level best. But if this part of the video helped you to understand how to simplify this type of a question, do not forget to like, share, comment, and also subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. If you want to support this channel to grow so that we can give you high quality for content, you can always hit the super like button. That will be highly appreciated as well. But if you can't, you can always like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We also appreciate that as well. All right, guys, we are done with question 5, and also we are done with the whole question. I hope this video helped you to understand how to solve these problems that we're solving, and I hope that you can check whether you did manage to answer some of the question correctly. And if you did not, I hope this video helped you to understand those questions. Right, at the end of this video, there will be a playlist that contains the questions of this question paper from question 1 to question 5. And also a complete question will be uploaded as well. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Till next time, cheers.